Alrighty, hello and welcome back to the show, my lovely, delicious little lemon drops. We have another cast coming your way today, going down on Project Mesa HD. A high definition Mesa for you there, which is, definitely, that's definitely a Mesa of some sort. I don't know, looks straight out of New Mexico. But anyway, cast coming your way, 4 versus 4. Team 1 up the top, Team 2 down at the bottom, as is traditional. We'll go ahead and get into introducing our players, starting off with the front, well, I guess the front west player. We've got Graceful Hippo. He's going UEF, opening first land, which was be expected. I always see Graceful Hippo, and I think of the Golden Hippo from the Elden Ring DLC. Any other Elden Ring enjoyers out there, feel free to drop it down in the comments below. But that DLC was wicked hard. I had to revert back to summoning for every single fight, and because I'm a filthy casual. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Elden Ring. We're here to talk about FAF, just to faff around a little bit. Next up, we've got Kokosina, I'm guessing. He was going UEF as well, already working on the Hydro, opening first land. I'm assuming this is going to be the air position, as it will be a little bit more difficult for him, her, or them to actually get out and get their hands dirty. So next we've got Mortefero, who is also going UEF, actually all UEF on the northern team. First land all day, working on that Hydro and some of his expansion mexes. And last but not least, on the way to the middle, we have Gava, who's going UEF first land. Moving his comm out there. He's got that eco upgrade, or that eco mod thing that like auto upgrades mexes or something. I should look into that. I should do like a showcase on like weird cool mods again. It's been a couple years since I did that, although a good portion of it was my hiatus. But continuing our UEF theme here, we've got Ad Lordy going UEF first land, working on the Hydro. Teammate to the east, on the way out to the middle, we have an Aeon by the name of Nimushira, who is going Aeon first and second land, so spicing things up a little bit. Another Aeon player to his east, we've got Papa Kaba Baba. I think I pronounced that correctly first try, which makes me obviously a god among men. Going Aeon, getting some forward manufacturing up first and second land, as would be expected on this map. And then last but not least, we have a Cybran going by the name of Exod, who is got first land, second air up, getting some of that reclaim. Should also mention that I've never played this map, but this looks very traversable. So kind of looks like these air players are isolated on plateaus and would need to drop to expand. But this is 100% traversable by land units. You can kind of tell by the little like tire track things. The map makers put that in to indicate that something is traversable. Because I've gotten burned on that before, where something is definitely traversable and I'll be like rushing an air transport to expand, and then one of my teammates calls me an idiot, which, they should call me an idiot because I am an idiot. But, just sometimes it stings a little bit, You gotta look yourself in the mirror and embrace what you are, which is an absolute imbecile. But pretty quiet right now. This is a 10x10 map. So players are kind of getting set up. I've had a run of just kind of weird games lately. Like every time I open up, it's like the first replay I open, and there's just some crazy stuff that happens. If you haven't seen my last cast, go check that one out. That one ended in a really funny way. This one is also going to end in a pretty wild way that should not work. The strategy that we're going to see here should not work at all, but it does, because this is definitely a average Joe game. So gun range on the way now for Papa Kaba Baba. That's just a fun name to say. But yeah, this game ends in a weird way because this is an average Joe level game, which is, why we like watching these average Joe level games. You see weird stuff instead of, watching some of the pros. It's like, just a surgical dismemberment of their opponent, much in the same way that like I would clean a deer or something like that if I went out hunting. But gun damage and range now coming from Gava, squaring off against his Aeon opponent. Gun speed now coming in for Papa Kappa Baba. Got lots of Avas between both of these players' names. That's going to be really fun to say whenever these guys start fighting each other. Initial advantage definitely going to be for our Aeon player, though, as Gava forced to cancel that commander upgrade, getting shelled by some Fervor light artillery there. But initial advantage definitely going to the Aeon player if they get that upgraded range upgrade. And then I would say long term, probably give it to Gava Gava because you get nano, you get shield. You can turn that comm into something pretty wild. But a couple of other upgrades coming in now. Damage and range for Graceful Hippo, going into that proper phase 2 there where he just starts throwing quills all over the boss arena. And then we got Ad Lordy also going for damage and range. So everybody getting their comm upgrades up. Got some harassment here from Aeon. Paper thin tanks. Great at range. Terrible. Doing like pretty much anything that you would expect a tank to do, which is stand up and fight and take some hits. But even still, probably going to get the better of that engagement, as gun upgrade now done for Graceful Hippo. Ad Lordy about 70% of the way there on his, so should be just fine completing that. And now we have our first engagements here between Papa Kappa Gabba and Gava Gava. I'm missing this up. Papa Kappa Baba, and then Gava Gava. This is going to get old here pretty soon. But yep, you can see that gun upgrade forced, that forced cancellation on that gun upgrade, doing some pretty bad damage there for Gava Gava. He's going to have to figure out how to deal with that in the future. Maybe just throw out a bunch of Tech 1 units and then try and cram in a comm upgrade and hope for the best, because this is an untenable position for him right now. He's just getting pot-shotted, already down to about 50% HP. Meanwhile, on the other side, we have two equally matched UEF comms, both with gun upgrade. So really going to come down to Tech 1 land utilization here, as Ad Lordy getting in some help from his Aeon player there to the east. Squaring off, exchanging blows, though. Graceful Hippo, definitely with the Tech 1 land advantage, as Ad Lordy's limited Tech 1 army a little bit spread out and not going to present any concern here for Graceful Hippo, as he just continues hunting down Ad Lordy here. Ad Lordy with the gun upgrade, and Graceful Hippo with a pretty bad commander placement here, honestly, so he's going to end up just losing a lot of Tech 1 units and then be forced to back off. So not ideal there. Probably could have played that a little bit better, gone for a Shift G or something, let his commander lead a little bit more, just get that commander in for a little bit more of the action. But on the other side of the map, Gava Gava has been, his forward manufacturing has been absolutely taken apart by Papa Kappa Baba, as Papa Kappa Baba is now hunting down Gava Gava with that range upgrade, and Papa Kappa Baba doing some, again, pretty significant damage, as Gava Gava is now down to 50% HP. It's exhausting to say. Triad's now coming down for the UEF player. It should force Papa back, because Papa doesn't want to deal with no Triads. Papa wants to live, and that is the exact same with Gava Gava. But Papa's got himself some new territory here, and we'll be abusing it. Can actually get at this mass extractor as well, provided he has radar with that gun upgrade. I would think that you wouldn't quite be able to hit that with the terrain, but it looks like he definitely got a shot off on it, so maybe it's a particular spot that he's got to be at. One thing for sure that I know can hit it are these Fervor artilleries, so. More pushing out from Nimushira, who's got gun speed and range on his commander as well. Damage and range coming down for Morteferro. Man, two of the UEF players on the northern team really just having issues getting their commander upgrades in a timely fashion, and are now having to kind of pay the price here as they got outpaced by their southern opponents, ironically both of which are Aeon. But this is a pretty significant Tech 1 force. You know, I probably would have eaten it a little bit more and maybe taken a little bit more damage, but they're gonna, as if he just held for a little bit and then waited for his commander to get the gun upgrade, he probably kills Nimushira there. But Nimushira gonna be able to walk away from that. Does take some pretty significant damage, but still walks away with his life. A little bit of a missed opportunity there for Morteferro. If I have any Italians that are watching, I'm so very sorry for my butchering of your accent. But little run by here as well from Papa Kappa Baba, forsaking his opponent Gava Gava and instead going after Mortefero's main base. That's going to be Tech 2 mexes now under threat. One's already down. Stingers are going to show up from the air player just in the nick of time here, but not soon enough to save the core mass there for Mortefero. Team 2 doing quite well here in the early stages of the game. Core mass taken out for Mortefero with that little run by. He's going to have to send back his Tech 1 land units to deal with that, as well as the Stingers there from the air player. Actually didn't even need to send his Tech 1 land back, but that's a nice little raid, nice little run by. Mortefero is feeling that down to 17 mass income per tick, which is, not a great spot to be. Here at about 10 minutes into the game. Ideally, you want to be like between 30 and 40, somewhere in that range, and then get to grow from there. Because now we have a shield upgrade starting for Nimushira. So going for that full Aeon Battle Comm. That's one thing I did notice has changed quite a bit in the meta, is Adlordi getting harassed by Janus as well as Stinger fire, and Adlordi is in trouble here. There are not enough interceptors here. There's a Corsair, but Tech 1 bombers and gunships should have this in the bag. I think this is going to be our first ejection here. Adlordi from the southern team takes a dive here at 11 minutes, almost 12 minutes here into the game. And I think that Team 1 needed that. They needed at least one of these fronts to go well, because Gava Gava has finally got his gun upgrade. He's also got nano, so that's going to help quite a bit. But Papa Kappa Baba should go for the kill here. I don't know why he's not. Okay, maybe that's why he's not. He recognized that there's threats from the skies. But he has so much Tech 1 anti-air in this mix that he'll actually just be fine. He would have been fine if he kept going. And yeah, missed opportunity here. I think is Gava gonna make it if he focuses fire? But these Aurora are getting distracted by the other Tech 1 units. Artillery going after point defense. They're not going after the commander. Hate to see it. Could have been a good kill there for team number 2 and leveled the playing field, as now we have a run by from Mortefero into Papa Kappa Baba's base. Gava Gava very happy that Papa Kappa Baba is getting some of his infrastructure taken down. Exod, the air player, brought his commander forward to try and deal with this, but Papa's going to lose his Tech 2 land factory. And Papa's not too happy about that. He's also going to lose a lot of his core mexes. I'm going to lose one for sure. Probably going to save this one, so only going to lose one, but the big hurt, the big oof, the big ouch was that Tech 2 land factory. On the other side of the map, Adlordi's previous base now properly leveled by Tech 2 units here out of Graceful Hippo, the ringer there, highest rated player there on team number 1. And we have Corsairs in from the air player. So Exod, almost 14 minutes into the game, actually just now completing his Tech 3 air upgrade. So going for a little bit more of an aggressive play style initially, which didn't 100% work out. I don't know if he tried to do a snipe anywhere with Corsairs, but obviously was not successful and is now just a little bit behind his opponent, I would imagine. Yeah, so we got Tech 3 air factory already up. A good power infrastructure there, initial power infrastructure for Gokosina. And Exo just now getting his first engineer off the line. So a little bit behind, not unrecoverable, but a little bit behind nonetheless. As Nimushira wrapping up the last of this little raiding party. But his front line now under attack by Mortefero. This whole front, it doesn't look that hard to keep these run-bys from happening, but it seems like they just keep happening for both teams, throwing the other team off balance. And then, before it was Mortefero, who has since recovered relatively well And gunship first off the line there for Exod. That's an interesting choice, but it's a choice for sure. As Pillar's now coming in for Graceful Hippo, double teaming Nimushira here in the middle. Nimushira's commander is out here on the west, trying to take back Ad Lordi's old base, so not in a good position to stop this raid, but actually Papa Kappa Baba has walked himself over, and Papa is now laying into these UEF units with his gun comm, so everybody's just kind of shifting one player slot over. And now we have Gava Gava with the newly minted shield upgrade on his commander. Gonna walk into some Tech 2 point defense fire here. See if he can get anything done here. Mostly Tech 1 units, which are not going to be a huge issue, especially with this UEF gun comm. You can one-shot these Auroras without overcharging. Very efficient at dispatching the Aeon and their foolishness. But the Oblivion turrets, I would imagine, are going to force him to run back. Because right now it looks like he's turned his shield off and is just getting absolutely annihilated by these point defense, down to about 60% HP already. But he'll be able to back up and get that nano repair back up and running. Meanwhile, Papa Kappa Baba on the offense up against Monteferro, as we have a, Jesus Christ, that's a lot of engineers coming out of Cocosina. I'm assuming on like some sort of reclaim order. Yep, it would appear like that. Cocosina just selected literally every single Tech 1 engineer in his base and sent them all off to die, it would appear. They're not even reclaiming some of this initial stuff. And Papa Kappa Baba looks to be initially concerned that these are like a bunch of Ursivals or something and is moving back, but nope, it's just little Tech 1 engineers. But he will spend more mass in engineers, I think, than he will reclaim from this very limited reclaim pile here in the middle. As Jesus Christ, that's a lot of engineers. They're still coming. Lots have already died, and they're still coming. Little whaler raid here out of Exode. Got a couple of ASF out from Cocosina. And a couple of interceptors as well. But whalers going directly for Cocosina's main base here. Only 2 of them, so, you know, we're probably not looking at a comm snipe here, but might be able to take out some of this power infrastructure, which would, you know, put a damper on Cocosina's plans of global domination via air. Interceptors do now respond. Only going to be able to bag, I think, 1 Tech 2 power generator. Yeah, 1 Tech 2 P-Gen. We'll be able to save the second one just in the nick of time. Such a weird raid with only 3 Tech 3 gunships. That's why we love the Joes. We love the Joes. It's Papa Kappa Baba, very low. Should be okay now that he has reinforcement troops. Titans are coming in, though, from Graceful Hippo. Titans are good, though, but Obsidians are quite good. The tier 2.5 almost. Even better than Ilshivas, in my opinion, as far as just straight damage for damage. Ilshivas have, of course, very big advantages whenever it comes to range and fire rate and everything, but Obsidians will beat Ilshivas toe-to-toe, mass for mass. At least according to my last science video, which is now several years old, so maybe I should probably redo some of that testing. But last time I checked, that was the case. Couple ASF now out from Cocosina. Very few ASF, actually none, out from the lower air player. Lower air player going exclusively for whalers, which is a very interesting choice. Yeah, just kind of weird games. Like there's 5 ASF on the field right now at 20 minutes into the game. both air players going instead for air to ground action. It's like they both made an agreement, like, okay, you're not going to build ASF, I'm not going to either. Oof, sorry about that. I had a sneezing fit. I had to stop, I had to pause the game for a second. Titans now pushing in though. We do have Nemoshir as commander here. A couple overcharges, and that little group of Titans is Dunzo. Headed into Dunzo City there. But things have quieted down a little bit. We have an odd raiding party here. These little run-bys, man, just keep getting in all the wrong places there for team number 2. I guess it is an advantage here that you do have good air to ground from your air player and no ASF in this particular instance, because able to respond with those whalers and take out those Titans before they do any severe damage. And now we've kind of gone into a little bit of standoff tactics here for Papa Kappa Baba and Gava Gava. Setting up those artillery installations now. Laying into each other's shields over and over again. And to the west, another little engagement here, this time from a squadron of pillars that find themselves grossly outmatched against a group of obsidians. I talk a lot of shit about the Aeon, but I will say their tier 2 and tier 3 land phases are pretty solid with obsidians, blazes, and the harbingers. Do love me some good Harbies from Arby's. That's a throwback there. Oh yeah, incidentally, I had planned on doing a different cast this evening. Willow sent me a really good game. That's, I think, the first game he's played in years. So I was going to cast that one, but he asked that I hold off on it a little bit because I think he wanted to do something a little bit more special for it on his channel because he's back in casting now. So I think he put out his first cast in quite a bit, a couple weeks ago. So yeah, if you're interested in seeing, Rusty Willow play some Settons, tune in, like and subscribe, tune in next time. That'll probably be going up on Monday, I'm guessing. I'm recording this on Friday night, so I'll probably record that one tomorrow. And then we'll put that one up on Monday, I would imagine. Little Titan raiding parties here and there find themselves poor defenseless mobile missile launcher whalers once again dispatched to clean up the issue. We have another little raiding party over here. This is just, I don't know, weird. I guess you kind of always want to keep the pressure up, always want to keep your opponent on their toes. But it seems like it would be a good idea to just kind of buckle down, get all of your Tech 3 mexes, which, I guess he has in his core base. Crank up your economy to 11, and then spam those Titans or get some Percivals in the mix actually would probably be a better move. But Shield Heavy now on the way for Papa Kappa Gaba. No, Papa Kappa Baba. The Gava Gava is his opponent. Can't even script this naming. It's so good. Shield now on the way for... No, Stealth on the way for Exode. I was like, Shield's on the way. I was like, nope, that's a Cybran comp. I was like, when did Cybran get Shield? That would be broken to have a shielded and cloaked Cybran comm. That is the stuff of nightmares with a laser upgrade. Yeah. That would be rough. Whalers getting picked off here. Are there... Okay, so we have like very few ASF out from Kokosina, but he's gone entirely in on Janus. Which is weird, although that is a very cool shot with, the napalm going full broken arrow. on those units on the ground. Unfortunately, they are flying over several mobile flaks, so, you know, good anti-air coverage there for Nimushira. Stealth is, I guess, restarted there for Exode, which is a little weird. But hello. Snipe attempt here with Janus. If y'all wanted to know why Janus are not great for sniping, that is a perfect example. That was like 15-20 Janus. Got absolutely annihilated and barely popped the shield, which is a Tech 2 shield. So, yeah. Learn your lesson, kids. Janus, not great for sniping. If you want to snipe with UEF, Stingers are, I think, superior. Meanwhile, the standoff tactics have appeared to worked out here for Gava Gava, dismantling the forward installation there for Papa Kappa Baba. Gava Gava is pretty happy about kicking Papa Kappa Baba out of that. Papa probably not super happy, but, you know, Papa can get angry sometimes. I said that with way more of a serious tone than I meant to. Ugh. But Nano Repair now on the way for Exode, so Exode going for some comm upgrades of his own. He's got a gateway, is going for RAS comms. You know, if you kids want another lesson, build more than one air factory and then build ASF out of it as an air player, because it is 26 minutes into the game and you're looking at Exode's entire air force there. Should have quite a few more ASF at this particular point in time. But I mean, I guess, to be fair, the Whalers do seem to be doing, you know, something. They're doing some pretty good damage here, but the air force out of his opponent, Kokosina, even though it's, you know, still not great for this time in the game, is definitely more mature as far as getting some of those 5th gen fighters out. Getting some of those Raptors, some of those F-35 Lightnings out in the sky, baby. And Papa Kappa Baba going in once again with his commander with that new shield heavy upgrade. We do have Percival's coming in though from Graceful Hippo, and even with the shield heavy, if there's enough Percivals there, that's still something you got to respect as a commander. Is that mobile artillery back here as well? It is. We do have a Serenity mobile artillery. It is taking down some of the shielding here. This is why Obsidians are so good. Obsidians just absolutely... Granted, I mean, there's like 20 of them. But even forcing Percivals to run away here. These are Percivals with shield support. Until reinforcements come up from Graceful Hippo. And then the Obsidians are not looking so hard anymore. They have gone very flaccid in their ability. And now need to tuck their tail between their legs and run. But back and forth we go like a yo-yo here in the middle, as it yo's one way and then yo's back the other way. Harbingers, though, now coming up for Papa Kappa Baba, who seems to have kind of abandoned, you know, forsaken the idea of dislodging Gava Gava from his house up here, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Gava Gava pretty heavily entrenched here, although seems to be running into power issues as none of his shields seem to be working. And instead going down, looking for an avenue here against Morteferro, who has been very quiet, has let his allies fight his battles for him, predominantly this game. Just been ecoing back here, apparently, building a lot of manufacturing and then getting fusion reactors. More than happy to let Graceful Hippo fight his battles for him, which, you know, kind of makes sense. Graceful Hippo probably feels a little bit obligated, 1200 level player in the game. He was a little obligated to help out his buddy there. But once again, the yo-yo going back the other way. Murdering a group of engineers that were just trying to pick up some garbage here in the middle. Luckily, they were able to, you know, save the ocean. Or save the mesa, rather. Because, again, Project Mesa. See what I did there? This time, though, we got broadswords in. And look what the broadswords are going to find. They're going to find themselves a nice little Papa Kappa Baba. Taking some Percival fire. Broadswords look to be biding their time. I take that back. They're going in, baby. They're overshooting, baby. There we go. They figured it out. But, yeah, Percival fire, broadsword fire. Papa Kappa is not looking too good in this game. As does have some SAMs on the ground, or at least some mobile AA, some Redeemers. So, Redeemers helping out quite a bit. Taking down, actually, that was the last gunship that went down. So all the gunships are down. ASF soon to follow as Kokosina puts his air in a very inadvisable position. Papa Kappa gonna escape with the skin of his teeth. And hello, Exode on the front line with full cloaking and laser. Graceful Hippo thinking it's a spider. No, that's just an invisible commander. And Exode is just gonna march himself forward, actually gonna think better of it. Two more broadswords coming in to try and finish the job. Papa, now under shielding though, has gone home to his house, and there's plenty of AA here, so broadsword's not going to be able to do anything. You'd need 10 or 15 broadswords to be able to break that shield and bring the commander down reliably, I think, with all the AA. More AA coming up in the form of SAMs, which is quite good. Team 2 need to be building a good amount of SAMs because, you know, Exode still working off of... Okay, nope, he's built a second air factory that is idle, but still working primarily off of only one air factory. So, you know, in the air game, Team 2 certainly seem to be struggling a little bit, although Kokosina, you know, even though he's scaled his air grid significantly better, has a good portion of it devoted entirely to broadswords, and not ASF, and lost a bunch of his ASF to mobile AA on that last little foray. But regardless, Eco's looking pretty healthy. He's got all of his mexes double capped, and has now got a missile launcher and is working on a second one. So this is the interesting thing I wanted to show you guys. It does have an SMD as well. Let's go ahead and do a quick check on team number 2. I'm not seeing SMDs in any of their bases. Exode, no SMD. Papa has no SMD. Is working on a GC though. No, that's a flak. Okay. Yeah, so no SMD up for team 2. And we have one nuke launcher halfway loaded, another nuke launcher on the way. Coco dumping tons of crap loads of energy into this and has shitloads of e-storage. I don't know why he has that much e-storage, but well, I mean, I guess this is why. So you can store up, charge up those batteries, and then get these stonagers out as quickly as possible. Has Team 2 even scouted this whole little nuclear missile thing? They scouted the SMD as it was under construction. They do have radar signatures for the remaining buildings, but do not have visual confirmation that it is in fact a missile launcher, nuke launcher. And we still have flying eyes, so Tech 1 air scouts coming out of Exode. I mean, to be fair, Exode's got a lot going on. Like, because he's having to deal with, you know, this Monkey Lord, dealing with this push out from Graceful Hippo. He's also having to micro some land units. He's trying to do reclaim, and you know, he's only a 900 rated player. So, I mean, you know, it's hard to give him a bunch of crap whenever he's a 900 rated player playing, you know, 2 bases effectively and doing it, you know, relatively well for his team. Is slacking a little on the air game, but you know, we'll forgive him for that. Oh, he does have another air factory up here. Okay, so that's 3 at least, and this one is making ASF. And actually his Air Force looking a little bit healthier now relative to the game. Up to about, what are we working with here? Up to about 30 ASF, which is not too bad. Kokosina, on the other hand, let me see if I can grab, he's still got interceptors in his mix, but only has 10 ASF. So actually his teammates pinging out, we only need ASF, telling him to stop building gunships. And actually now he's making strats out of all of his air factories. Still has a Tech 1 air factory making Tech 1 air factory making interceptors. What are these? Oh, these are tactical missiles going after some of these mexes. That's not great. Well, they think this is a mex. It's actually a radar. But that's going to be a mex. So that's a Tech 2 mex down. Nimushira needs to get some of that juicy Aeon TMD up. That is our first nuclear launch. Second Stonager is done and getting loaded here, so we're going to have 2 nukes here in the very near future. First nuke going out, though. I think going after Nimushira's base here. Monkey Lord might get trapped as well, caught in the blast, which would be devastating as there is a Tech 3 land army bearing down on Nimushira's base right now. But Nimushira not protected by any SMD, so that is going to be a successful nuke landing. And now we're starting to see lots of experimentals get done. Papa has completed his GC. That GC squaring off against these Percivals, but that is a lot of Percivals. Should be more than enough to deal with this GC, especially if the GC does some of this like turning around crap and doesn't actually engage. Monkey Lord coming in to help, though. That is going to be quite helpful, but there are Ravagers as well back here, providing some of the more long-term support. GC in big trouble. Monkey Lord is going to go down. Harbingers there a little bit too late and are now going to be running headlong into Ravager fire. Are going to be able to take out this Clink Hammer installation if they focus on it, but actually are going after the missile launchers and Percivals there. So Harbingers going to donate their lives to science here as well. And that is going to be a pretty significant amount of reclaim deposited pretty well within Monteferro's reach. I'll be pretty happy about that one. Megalith now out for Exode, squaring off against an obese child there from Graceful Hippo. That Megalith just needs to walk forward. Well, actually, Graceful Hippo is retreating. Never mind. That Megalith needs to walk backwards. There we go. Good job, Exode. Another GC now out for Papa. Now, let's see if SMDs are now on the way. I do not see... Why do we have a stealth field? Okay, so never mind. There is an SMD here. It is not loaded, though, for Papa. Papa's got himself an SMD. There is none here in Exode's main base that I can see. And then Nimushira, you know, they're probably not going to nuke this base again for a while. Is really just trying to rebuild here. As the Megalith now walks his way towards the middle. Let's check on these nukes. How quickly are they loading? We're about 3/4 of the way done on one of them. Second one, 2/3 of the way there. And now we have a third one and then a fourth one and a fifth one queued up. So massive amounts of nuclear weapons going full United States and Russia Cold War era arms race. Just who could get the most nukes and stare down their opponent. Except in this case, instead of mutually assured destruction, it's just singularly assured destruction. I guess would be the appropriate way to say it. But Megalith and GC here in the middle, getting some good work done. GC taking a good amount of damage here from that Fat Boy. Megalith now with the Fat Boy in its sights. Graceful Hippo needs to get that Fat Boy back into safety. As a huge flight of ambassadors come, spreading their diplomatic will on the crab. That is the second Fat Boy. First Fat Boy for Graceful Hippo is going to go down, but another obese child has shown up on the scene and has given the crab a taste of his own medicine. GC still out here taking out some of these forward manufacturing, but again, a huge strat run as Kokosina just going full nuclear weapons. Tactical nukes dropped from the ambassadors. ICBMs getting launched from his Stonagers. Exo does bring in his air to deal with that. Flies in a little bit too far though. It does fly over a couple of SAMs, so he's going to lose some ASF needlessly there. As there we go, we're waiting for that next nuke to get loaded. Where's this one headed? This one is headed straight for Exode's base. Exode without an SMD. And I think y'all are starting to see why I picked this game, as it's just such a weird strategy. Like, this is what everybody dreams of. Like, whenever they play Supreme Commander, they're like, oh my god, there's nuclear weapons? I'm just going to build a shitload of nuclear weapons and then nuke my opponents into oblivion. And now we see Team 2 starting to experience that. Papa still with his SMD not loaded. And I'm assuming the next nuke is going for him. And the next one is going to be loaded here relatively soon. Actually is loaded right now if Coco's paying attention. He could go and take out Papa's base now. Papa's going to be sad. He's going to have another nuke in the tube right after. He's got so many nukes. He doesn't even know which ones are loaded. Okay, there goes that one. This one also now loaded, so he could throw out a second one as well. This one going straight for Papa's base. That SMD is not loaded. Will not be able to defend itself. Now we get to see Papa's base go up in smoke here. Smoke and flames and irradiation as that nuclear mushroom cloud blooms from the desert. This is literally I'm blanking on now the nuclear weapons test site in New Mexico where the first atomic bomb was detonated. That is embarrassing. I'm pretty sure it was Los Alamos Laboratory, but I can't remember the there's a specific name for the test site that now I'm blanking on. I'll throw it up there in post or something. 'Cause now I'm embarrassed. But another nuke out. This one going somewhere. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. Maybe go after some of the mexes here for Nimushira. Nimushira's like, I just rebuilt those. Now he's down. Nimushira's commander is, I don't know where it is. But Papa's commander is running for the hills. Exode's commander is somewhere. It's cloaked. Okay, there it is. Exode's commander is cloaked over here. Surprised he can still maintain cloaking. But that's going to be Papa giving up the ghost. Nimushira's calm is here. Megalith going to go down. The obese children are banging down the front door on all sides as we have just UEF galore. 3 fat boys out from Morteferro. Needs to get his children out exercising a little bit more. That's going to be Nimushira going down, and I would assume Exode is soon going to follow. It's just a wacky game. This is what every new player dreams of. This is what every single person did whenever they were playing against AI. They just turtled up, they played UEF, they built a shitload of Ravagers, and then they just built nuclear weapons and long-range artillery and bombarded their opponents into oblivion. Exode, I guess, still giving it the old college try. Still has a couple of whalers. You know, that laser is doing some work here. But now he has exposed himself to the Percivals. The Percivals are not happy with the exposure and have decided to penalize him for his indecent exposure with that amazing laser. And the Cybran explosion is still my favorite as far as commanders go. That is going to be our last is going to be our last calm explosion as the singularity rises from the deserts of New Mexico. Thank you all so much for watching. Remember, tune in next time if you want to see me roast Willow again in another cast. It's been a while since I've done that. It's always a good time roasting my fellow Forge Alliance Forever caster. Like and subscribe the video if you haven't already, and appreciate you all. I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.